How Scorpio acts when jealous. Scorpio is not the kind of sign that gets jealous loudly, chaotically, and in front of everyone. If Aries can explode immediately and Leo can show their frustration almost theatrically, Scorpio works differently. Scorpio gets jealous deeply, silently, and very personally. That is exactly why their jealousy is often more dangerous than it seems at first glance. Because on the outside, they may look completely calm at the exact moment when, inside, they've already started analyzing every look you gave, every tone in your voice, and every strange pause in your messages. When Scorpio gets jealous, the first thing they do is not make a scene. No! First, they observe. Very carefully. They do not always ask questions right away. They do not rush to show that something bothered them. On the contrary, they may even become quieter than usual. And that silence is one of the first signs that inside, their high alert mode is already switched on. Scorpio starts gathering information. They notice the things other people miss. Who you replied to faster. Who you smiled at longer. Why you sound more comfortable with one person than with them. Why today you sound warmer with someone else. And if you think they notice nothing just because they did not say a word, you are probably very, very wrong. Scorpio notices almost everything, especially when it comes to emotional safety. Because for them, jealousy is rarely just about possessiveness. More often, behind it is a fear of betrayal, a fear of losing control, and an inner feeling that says, I need to understand what is happening before someone hurts me. When Scorpio starts feeling jealous, they become more closed off. Not necessarily cold right away, but definitely more guarded. They may begin replying with shorter answers. They may stop sharing what they feel. They may pull away slightly, as if testing whether you will even notice. This is very typical of Scorpio. Not to shout, I'm jealous, but to create a space where you begin to feel on your own that something has changed. And if you are observant enough, you will feel it almost immediately. Because the energy of a jealous Scorpio becomes denser, heavier, quieter, but at the same time, more tense. Another important point. Scorpio rarely believes they are jealous for no reason. Even if the reason seems small or silly to you, inside their mind they have already built an entire chain of meaning. That is why Scorpio's jealousy often looks less like an impulse and more like a conclusion. They're not simply thinking, this makes me uncomfortable. They're thinking, I noticed several things. I connected them, and now I do not like the picture I'm seeing. That is why arguing with Scorpio in this moment is difficult. They are no longer just emotional. They already have an internal case file. When Scorpio is jealous, they may begin asking strangely precise questions. Not always directly, not always aggressively, but very specifically. So, how long have you two been talking? Why did you smile right after his message? Do you usually talk to him like that? I'm just curious why you didn't tell me about that sooner. And if you hear Scorpio say, I'm just curious, understand this. They are not just curious. They are already emotionally involved in the situation. They are simply still trying to keep themselves under control. Sometimes a jealous Scorpio becomes especially attentive to small details. They may suddenly start texting more often, showing up around you more often, checking where you are, who you are with, what kind of mood you are in. But they do it differently from other signs. With Scorpio, it can look like care, interest, or a desire to be closer. And that is what makes it complicated. Scorpio's jealousy can sometimes disguise itself as increased emotional involvement. From the outside, it may seem like the person has simply become more attentive, but in reality, they are trying to restore their sense of emotional control and reassure themselves that what exists between you is still within their emotional field of awareness. There is another side to this too. If Scorpio feels that the situation is truly serious, they can become sharp, not necessarily rude, but very precise with their words. Their jealousy often comes out through sarcasm, through cold remarks, through strangely calm sentences that suddenly make the whole room feel uncomfortable. They do not always say, I'm jealous. More often, they say something like, looks like you had a great time, or, I see you seem more comfortable with him than with me. And in those kinds of lines, you can already hear not just hurt, but a deep sense of emotional threat. The most interesting thing about Scorpio is that they rarely get jealous over something small if they do not feel a real emotional bond. If you do not matter to them, they may not even waste their energy on jealousy at all. But if they are truly in love, If they're attached, if they have opened up even halfway, then jealousy can switch on very quickly and very deeply. Because Scorpio does not love on the surface, which means they do not fear loss on the surface either. For them, a relationship is not just attraction. It is a territory of trust, emotional closeness, and vulnerability. And if they feel that someone else is stepping into that territory, they internally experience it almost like an intrusion. When Scorpio is jealous, they may start testing not only you, but your reactions. They watch to see whether you notice their silence, whether you try to explain yourself on your own, whether you reach for them or just continue living as if nothing happened. This matters deeply to them, because in those moments, they are not only testing the situation, they are testing your emotional investment too. How much do you actually feel them? How much does restoring closeness matter to you? Do you even notice that they are hurting? And if Scorpio is jealous, and the response they get is indifference, distance, or the feeling that they could easily be replaced, it cuts very deep, even if they do not admit it immediately. That is exactly when they may begin to shut down for real. Not for an hour, not for an evening, but more deeply. Scorpio knows how to withdraw in a way where yesterday there was magnetic closeness between you, and today it feels as if they are standing behind emotional glass, and bringing them back after that can be very difficult, because Scorpio does not like opening up twice in a place where they have already once felt threatened. But it is important to understand this. Scorpio's jealousy is not always a power game. Very often, it is the reaction of someone who feels too deeply and simply does not know how to treat closeness lightly. They are not the kind of person who says, well, whatever, let's see where this goes. If Scorpio has let you into their heart, they already take the connection seriously. And that is why any sense of instability can activate their anxious, protective, and intensely observant side. So what should you do if Scorpio is jealous? First, do not mock their feelings. Phrases like "you're imagining things," "you're being dramatic," or "it's not even a big deal" will only make the distance worse. For Scorpio, the point is not whether you think it is a small matter. The point is that they felt it as a threat. Second, honesty works much better with Scorpio than excuses. If your explanations become confusing, inconsistent, or full of omissions, they will only grow more suspicious. And third, Scorpio needs to feel that the connection matters to you too. Not, "Hust ear, calm down," but actually feel, "I'm here, I'm with you, what we have is real." And perhaps the most important truth about Scorpio's jealousy is this. In their own mind, it rarely appears out of nowhere. It is born where they truly care, where they have already invested their heart, where they have felt more attached than they ever intended to show. So if Scorpio is jealous, it is not always pretty, not always easy, and not always comfortable. But almost always, it is a sign that the feelings there are real and deep. The only question is this: will Scorpio be able to turn that jealousy into an honest conversation? Or will they once again choose silence, observation, and that heavy look that says everything without a single word?